Hi there guys, Darryl Griffiths here for Jumpcut Online. I hope you're all very well. 2 reviews left from Glasgow Film Festival. This is the first. The film is out on the 29th of March. It is the latest effort from director Morley of The Falling. She's certainly building up a reputation for the mysterious and the weird and the wonderful. It is called Out of Blue. It is an adaptation of the Martin Amis novel called Night Train, and it stars Patricia Clarkson, who you may recognise from HBO Sharp Objects, alongside Amy Adams. This film is a procedural at first glance, but there are certainly more fantastical themes underneath. Patricia Clarkson plays a recovering alcoholic and police officer by the name of Mike Houlihan. She's based in New Orleans. She's investigating the murder of a well-renowned astrophysicist by the name of Jennifer Rockwell. She has links to a war veteran called Tom, who's played by the legendary James Caan. So great to have him back on our screens, not too often enough. And her mother Miriam, played by Jacki Weaver. And of course you would expect, you know, the usual like Law and Order style type trajectory with such a case, but with the murder victim's background and career, it does take some weird and wonderful turns, and it makes for really interesting and very curious viewing. Morley, the direction is wondrous. There are the piercing reds, the deep blues, just the general colour palette, and sort of breaking it out of its very murky trappings, which you would expect in these sort of police investigation type dramas and within this genre. And the way she flips it with this very existential, fantastical theme that she sort of peppers throughout the film is really interesting to watch, and it really holds your attention. It's certainly disorientating to begin with. It does take a while for you to find your rhythm with it, but once you're locked in, it really is a fascinating watch, and the various themes and references that are sort of intertwined within this very intricate narrative that, again, at first glance it doesn't seem like that, is really impressive by Morley. I think the performances are terrific. Patricia Clarkson, again, there's been certain tweaks, I believe, from the novel. There's no necessary, or thrown in love interest. It's a very inward performance from Clarkson, because she's sort of tough talking, she's very headstrong in her profession, but as she digs a little deeper into this investigation, she certainly finds an element of reflection in her own character and personality traits and the way she's handled situations before, and it does make for a compelling watch through her eyes as Morley leads us through this very interesting and illuminating, to a degree, version of New Orleans, which, with the great tracking shots as she drives along, and the characters she encounters along the way, and it makes, and in these cases it could so easily tip into Lifetime Channel or really low budget fare, and Morley's, I think, with the calibre of actors and actresses that she's got involved in the film, it elevates it in brilliant fashion through the likes of James Caan and Jacki Weaver, who I think is certainly the more peculiar of the two characters, as the mother-father figures of this murder victim in Jennifer Rockwell, and she has a real habit of flashing her hands and these real odd philosophical monologues that she has, along with Patricia Clarkson, and James Caan adds a real sense of gravitas to proceedings as well, and also Toby Jones, who is running the observatory, sort of looks after it, and again he's a very peculiar character as well. And I think that's what the film does really well. And it's a nice juxtaposition between Patricia Clarkson, who's very headstrong and, you know, very rigid in her thinking, and, you know, doesn't really suffer falls easily. And then you've got the supporting members, if you like, who are dialing it up and really adding to the weird and wonderful nature of the narrative. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see how this film connects to a wider audience. And for me personally, as I say, I think initially it might throw you off in terms of how the narrative unfolds, but I think this is a film that, with repeat viewings, you are going to garner a lot more from it intellectually, in terms of its film references and just the general way it deals with sort of this is existential crisis and this astrophysicist world, if you like, and cosmology, and just the way we view the world. And, you know, we look at these odd little coincidences in our lives along the way, and we sort of, I mean, on a personal level, I do sort of, you know, wonder whether there's odd links here and there along the way. And maybe you guys do that as well, I'm sure. And you just wonder whether there's some, you know, unlikely connection to things. And I think Morley does accentuate that to a degree with Out of Blue. And overall, I think it's a really terrific follow-up. And for female directors, she's a really shining light at the moment, Carol Morley. I think she's doing some terrific work and some boundary-pushing stuff to a degree as well. I think it's just really interesting to see her, you know, channel this distinctive and wondrous voice through the films that she's making. And Out of Blue is another great addition to a ever-developing back catalogue, and I hope it sincerely continues. And of course, anchored by a terrific performance by Patricia Clarkson. That is my review of Out of Blue. I hope you've enjoyed it. Jumpcut Online, Facebook, like our page, Twitter, Jumpcut_online, and the website www.jumpcutonline.co.uk. I have one review left, as I said at the beginning of the review. It is Gloria Bell. It was the surprise film at the Glasgow Film Festival, starring Julianne Moore, the wonderful Julianne Moore, of course. I hope you can look out for that one. For now, I've been Darryl Griffiths. Hope you've enjoyed the review, and I will speak to you soon, guys. Take care. Bye now.